Welcome, everybody, back to this train wreck of a podcast we like to call Big Talk with Chris and Gregg. What's happening, Gregg? How are you?
What's up? This is Gregg.
It's Chris.
How you doing, man?
Good.
I'm doing good, man.
I'm doing great.
All right. Did you survive Christmas?
I survived, barely. Didn't have to, got to spend time with the kids, and, they were with their mom for Christmas Eve, and then, they came over for Christmas, and got to spend the day with them there, and, another couple days, and it was nice. It was nice.
Yeah, good. I had Christmas Eve. I had everybody come over. So my son, his girlfriend, my daughter, her boyfriend came over, my mom, Vanessa, and me, and my wife. We had a good time, man, and this is the first time in a long time that I didn't have to work on Christmas Eve, so I didn't have to race home and do that. So I got up nice and late, wrapped some gifts, started dinner early, and just relaxed, man. I mean, I drank some really good Christmas beer, so I was really happy about that. Some of them that I brought over to you that we did.
Santa's Little Helper.
Oh yeah, still drinking that, man.
I had no alcohol on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
I went
okay.
over to my mother-in-law's house, and I had to work, so I went over there afterwards and spent some time over there with family, and it was nice. It was nice.
Yeah.
Ate tamales, had some chocolate. Never know what you're gonna get unless you read the. Do you ever get chocolates and I get upset when they don't have the key code? Like this one is caramel. This one is strawberry cream. I mean, candy with me is just like drinks, like alcohol.
Okay.
Even if I don't like it, I'm still going to eat it. I'm not going to throw it out if I don't like it.
All right.
I don't know. I'm not too picky.
I like that, the key code with the cookie. So there's one Christmas cookie that we sell, and it has there. It's pretty good. I like that. Oh, what's this one? Has white fudge.
Yeah, because you want to try them all. You want to I don't want to keep trying ones that maybe are on my lower end of deliciousness.
Correct.
I
There
want
you go.
high-end deliciousness.
Yeah.
So give me the code. Let me decipher it. It's like
Let
the
me know
decoder,
what I'm
the
looking
decoder
for.
ring. You gotta.
Yes.
Yeah, it is cool.
That's good.
Did you get your fill of Christmas movies this year? I didn't get to watch as
No.
many as I wanted to.
No, I didn't. I didn't really do. I was doing one once in a while, but because I'm going to sleep a little bit earlier nowadays because of work.
It happens at your age.
I know. So I didn't get to
What
see
time do you eat dinner? 3:30, 4?
5:30. That's dinner
at
time.
That's at the upper end of the silver plate special.
Hey, I need a couple of hours to digest before I go to sleep, man. So 5:30 is my dinner time right now. But it was good, man. Good times. Family came over, had a good time. My son brought some sour beers, which I will bring over for New Year's, and it was good. It was good. It was fun stuff, man.
There's I don't know if it's like a brewery. I don't know if it's like the Santa Monica Brewery or whatever. They have a little serving place in the mall down there. It's on I can't remember. It's one of the malls there. It's Santa
Promenade?
Monica, maybe. It's up on the 3rd floor. No, it's not the Promenade. It's the other one. And they have sour beers there. I'd never had them before. They're pretty good.
They're okay. They're an acquired taste, just like the Santa's Little Helper. I gave my daughter some of the Santa's Little Helper, and she was like, "It's a little bitter," and I was like, "Yeah, but they're smooth and good."
What did her boyfriend think?
And that he didn't try it because it was out of my mug. I had a serving mug, and I didn't let him try that one.
Victim of the COVID.
No,
He didn't want to get it from you.
No,
Not that you have it.
I didn't offer that. Sometimes I don't offer the same drink. Like if it was same can, I probably wouldn't.
Well, you probably only bought one bottle of it.
No, I had 3.
Seems to be
No, I had that. It was good. It was fun. It was delicious, bro. It was good times. Like I said, my son brought the sour ones, and then they was super sour, but they were good. It was good, fun stuff.
Now, what do you got? You got plans for New Year's? What are you doing on New Year's?
Me and my wife are probably hanging out with some good friends.
Oh, all right.
And hanging out with them, bringing in the new year. We usually don't do a lot of stuff, but this year I kind of wanted to hang out and bring in the new year with some good friends, because it wasn't a bad year. 2020, I think, was worse, but 2021, hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and hey, there's some light, so I was happy with it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the whole year.
I'll be spending New Year's at home. I'm gonna have some family over, and then some people I felt like I had to invite over just because they think I'm a really good friend. So
Nice.
you guys don't get that Gregg's gonna come hang out with us on New Year's.
Yeah.
That's the joke. So
It's all
if
right.
you don't get it.
It's a New Year's rockin' Eve.
I'm looking forward to New Year's. 2021 was definitely better than 2020 has almost been completely erased from my like my memory.
Okay.
It's
I need a
just-
few more years.
It was bad.
Yeah.
It was bad. Everything all around, with work, schools, the kids, just being deathly afraid of
Going
contracting
outside.
an
Yeah.
unknown virus.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. There were so many things going on, and then the stress levels were running high.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Stress levels high.
Yes, that definitely in that one. But you're right. No, it hasn't erased from my mind yet. But hey, things every year supposedly gets better. A little older, a little more gray hair, a little more forgetting things. So
I got some grays coming in too. I got some grays. You
Where?
can't tell they're hidden into the rest of my luscious dark brown locks. You can't, and then my hair is so healthy and shiny, you just can't see it. You can't decipher it. My beautiful mane.
that's all right. Luckily, still this year in 2021, I still have a good set of hair.
Yeah, I
look
think
great.
I think you're gonna be fine. I think you're gonna make it.
I know.
I think you're gonna make it all the way to the end without losing your hair. I think you're gonna be fine. It would have already happened.
I
this
thank
point.
my grandfather for good genes of the hair. He lived to be 100.
Is
and
that your
he-
grandfather that I met?
Yes.
Is it? Yeah.
Yes, that's my grandfather, Matt. He lived to be 100 and had a nice full set of hair, and
Yeah, he did.
thank God I'm following in that direction. So
Not a bad man to follow after.
no, definitely
From
not.
what I've
man.
met from him. So
Yeah, definitely a distinguished gentleman.
yeah.
Miss him totally.
So this is episode number 16. 16? Yeah, 16.
16.
Gosh, dude.
Christine, 16.
It's been that was his solo. It's been fun. We talked about doing a podcast for years and years. When people ask, I don't think it was 10 years that we've been talking about it, but I know it's been more than 5. So I usually say, about 7 years ago we started talking about it. We just never did it. Like
I kind of
this or that would happen.
I kind of wanted to say, like, when we had a pretty good group of friends that would watch wrestling and barbecue and stuff like that. I think we always talked about wanting to get them in a round table and a bunch of mics and just talk about different things. And as life progresses, I think we lost a few friends, we gained a few friends, but in the end, we kind of like, let's just me and you try it out. And heck yeah, man, it's been fun. I totally love it. I'm actually, I don't know if I told you, I'm kind of living the dream because I always wanted to, when I was younger, and I always wanted to be like a DJ and be on the radio and spin some records. And not that I'm not doing that, but I'm still having fun, talking and listening, bullshitting with you. And, we talk about different stuff. We talk about fun wrestling, talk about rock, talk about fashion, talk about pop culture, talk about family life. And so, man, I'm having a good time doing this, and I'm very excited and looking forward to next year.
Well,
in all our podcast.
You'll make it with a full head of hair, and you'll eclipse your high rank of being a phone fox.
Right?
So that will,
Thank you for remembering
there
that,
you go.
dude.
I remember everything.
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot, but I remember everything you say on the podcast.
Good, yeah.
Almost. Yeah, dude, it's been we talked about doing this for a long time, for years. I remember we were where we went out to a local brewery here or something like that. And we just said, let's just do it. I think that might have been the day we were, let's just do it. And then we just went, got the equipment and then said, let's do an episode. Let's just debut albums. Let's just do that. I remember that day that we were like, okay, we're going to do a debut episode. So let's do it on debut albums. I think we went out to eat breakfast over here. And then we came back and did the episode. And that was kind of late morning. We were like, man, let's go get lunch. So we went and, started
Went
eating,
at
went
lunch.
ate, and
Did some
had
drinking,
did some drinking.
liquid
We're like,
courage.
Let's do a second episode today. Okay,
Yeah.
what do you want to do it on? Tag team wrestling. Like, what do you let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
So we basically got done drinking, came back to the house, and just basically said, okay, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then no, let's start recording. You know? So basically, you know, that one was really off the hip, that tag team episode. We didn't do a lot of research at all. That was really, and I think you really get a feel from it, like listening to it, that second episode. We'll go back and talk about the first episode, but just to kind of tie up my story, that second episode, you really get a feel of, this is just me and Gregg conversating, which is really kind of the gist and what we want to come across in our podcast. And people kind of do feel that they get the, you know, there's just two guys conversating here, which is the way we want it to come across. And that second episode, man, we're just two guys talking about something they love, which is wrestling, you know? And
exactly.
That's kind of how the first two episodes kind of came to be.
What was funny too about that is we talked to each other and we're like, hey, how long should the episode be? And we're like, I don't know, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like we didn't really give ourselves a time limit, and we ended up doing, I think, an hour, 45 minutes. What did you do on the first episode?
I can look it up, but it was an hour something. Man.
We did an hour, and we kind of looked at each other like, that was an hour? That was fast. We could have gone longer.
Let me look it up here on YouTube, where our episodes are all now available to stream. We got no video up, but we got the audio form all.
Yeah, that's totally cool. I've checked that out in my bedroom. I'm hanging out.
Hour and 6 minutes and 23 seconds.
Yeah, see, when we're just fooling around, just BS, and we think, oh, we'll just do a short. We'll do a nice, 30-minute, 20-minute episode. Nah, we want to do a...
I think we were worried. Do you think we can talk that long?
Yes.
Can we talk for 30 minutes?
That was the thing, too.
I told my wife that. I go, do you think me and Gregg could talk for 30 minutes? She just rolled her eyes at me and walked away. Like, do you guys are going to have to cut it down from like 2 hours or something, man? We could go on forever.
Yeah.
No. That first day, we started, doing our podcast. Our first episode was debut albums. And starting from that episode, because we do a lot of it some research. We write down our notes. Gregg's got his novels. I've transitioned to current times. I use my laptop, and but a lot of it's from the hip. We just kind of come from what we remember, our memory. Gregg on that first episode, everything. And whenever I talk to someone about that first episode, they would say, "Oh, who's the guy that's with you on that?" And I tell them who it is, and they go, "Man, he's got really good stories." Because, you tell your story about the Guns N' Roses concert. I have a guy that I know at work, and he knew who TSOL was.
Oh, okay.
He's like, oh, man, he knows who that is? Oh, cool. And you hear people talk about, oh, man, he tells great stories. So I don't know if I told you that yet, but.
No, you didn't, man. That was nice to hear, man.
You might be getting some fan mail. I don't know. You got groupies, dude. You got groupies.
Bring them on. I'll sign anything.
They're guys.
That's all right. You
can sign their chest.
Their chest hairs
tangled in your Sharpie. You have to pick the hair out.
Yeah. All right. So on some of the debut albums, did we forget anything?
Yes. And that's the point I was gonna make. Is all these episodes after we get done, you know how it is whenever. I should have said.
I should have
done this.
We're gonna do that a lot of it on this episode.
Man, there were some albums that. Because we're just kind of doing it from memory, but there's some albums, and I got one here that I want to talk about, and we're not going to do the whole episode about recapping this one episode. We're going to talk about all of our episodes. Man, one album that I didn't know, I didn't really listen to the whole album all the way through until recently, within maybe about the last 10 or 15 years, was Steelheart's debut album.
Whoa.
Their self-titled album, Steelheart. Man, that album is just totally killer. I can't believe I forgot to talk about that. It's Angel Eyes is their Never Let You Go was their big, huge hit that was all over MTV. But Everyone Loves Eileen is my favorite song from that, and it just kills. And it's one of those bands where the first song you hear is a ballad. So you're like, oh, these guys, another. But man, you listen to them, the whole album, which is why I've become an album guy. I don't like just listening to singles, which I've said before. So if you just listen to the album, you're like, oh, that's the only song that kind of sounds like this. The rest of them are pretty killer, dude. They're really a good band. So, and with his vocals and everything, man. I remember the first time I listened to that album, I was driving in my truck. going to I think it was a fantasy football draft or a fantasy baseball draft up in Santa Clarita. It's like, oh man, I haven't listened to this, and I put it in the player. I think it was a CD. I think it was CD player or tape CD, and I was like, oh dude, it like my eyes got wide and I was cranking him. I was like, this is awesome, dude. Why have I not? So when lesson learned. You like one song, just go listen to the whole album because you're probably gonna hear better songs than the single. So,
right.
But that album is killer.
Nice. The first band that or album I want to talk about on the debut was that we totally missed, Slaughter. Stick It To You. Slaughter was one of those bands that the singer Mark Slaughter started singing for Vinnie Vincent on his second album. And I did see him live when they opened up for Iron Maiden on Somewhere Lost in Time tour, if I'm correct. And was like, wow, this singer's pretty good, and blah, blah, blah. I heard his album, or heard him, what they did with Vinnie Vincent. And then I heard, the bass player and the singer took off and they started their own band called Slaughter. And boy, did I fall in love with it, dude. It's so good.
I love Slaughter. That first album is great.
Right, man. Eye to Eye, Burning Bridges, which is tentatively written about Vinnie Vincent. Spend My Life, She Wants More, Fly to the Angels was another one that, man, killer ballad. Mad About You, You're the One, just desperately.
The you may have inadvertently skipped over it, but the huge song that was the debut single from that was Up All Night.
Wow.
And that thing
that was
on. I remember I was at, whose house do you think I was at watching music and wrestling? I was at my grandma's house. Like I always am, watching TV. You would think we didn't have TV at my house. And I remember the day that video came out, and it was on. Remember back in the day, they'd play it like every hour on the top of the hour.
Yeah.
And man, I was like, man, this is killer. And then you listen, finally, when you eventually come to listen to the whole album, you're like, wow, this isn't even the best song on the album. The biggest single is even the best song from the album. So I like the song Desperately. Yeah. It's towards the end. That song is just great. And Fly to the Angels is a great one too. And I like they really open with Eye to Eye is a great opening
track.
And two things. One, that was on my list. And two, I just peeked across the table and saw the album cover you're going to talk about now, and that one's also on my list.
Well, speak it up. Say it.
Winger.
Yes.
They're self-titled.
A lot of times Winger gets
Beavis and Butthead.
The butt of the joke, Beavis and Butthead. Oh, if you're not listening to Metallica, AC/DC, Winger's the light metal or, something like that. But for me and Chris, Winger was a band that we loved. We love that.
Yeah,
man.
Winger's great. Their musicianship, Reb Beach is just a phenomenal guitar player. As a band, they're so tight. The lyrics are well written. The songs are well constructed. They're almost like if you took hair metal from the 80s and more than a dash, but like a good heaping of like progressive metal or progressive rock, because a lot of their time signatures change. They don't sound like a hair band. Of course, 17, yes, you hear it there in that song. But some of the other songs, man, Headed for a Heartbreak. That song is the guitar playing. Usually when I listen,
the
to song,
solo is awesome
twice.
on that.
It's just
Reb
great,
Beach
dude.
is a great guitar player.
I can't get enough of. I think when I bought their tape from, because I went through this huge time where I was buying just used records and tapes. Just to get my hands on them. I bought, Winger, I'm going to buy it. And I put it in my tape deck in my car or my truck or whatever. It was my truck. It was in there for like a week.
Yeah.
Just listening to it over and over. And I was like, oh man, this album's great.
Yeah, that was just, what's funny about that. So the times are different. So that album was in 1988, right? One of their hits was 17. As an adult today, hearing that, like, yeah, she's only 17. Should we really be singing about only being 17?
I know. It fits perfectly in its time and place when it came out.
Correct. So in 1988, yes, that was definitely that.
And I got another album I want to talk about. I got two more. I got a list. I got a huge list. A couple of them I'm going to talk about. The other ones I'm just going to shoot out.
Okay.
We don't really have to talk about them. One that I totally forgot about until today, and then I listened to like the first half of it, and I was like, dude, yes, it's just as killer as I remember.
Right.
Is Badlands.
Oh,
Self-titled debut.
Yes. Wait a minute. How'd you listen to it? What is it on?
I know. You cannot find it anywhere. Guess where I found it?
Where'd you find it?
YouTube.
Oh, okay.
You can find it on
Okay,
YouTube.
find it on YouTube. All right.
You can't find this album. You can't find it on Spotify. You can't find it on Apple Music.
No.
So I was like, oh, let me try it on YouTube. So, they have the people where people post the albums.
Okay, YouTube. All right.
Dude, that opening riff of a High
High
Wire
Wire.
melts your face from the beginning. It's Jakey Lee is the lead guitar.
Yes.
Ray
Gillen.
Ray Gillen is vocals, dude, and it's unfortunate, he passed away from HIV.
And I think it was
early 90s.
Eric Singer was
Singer
drums.
was the drums on that.
And they had some other dude.
Yeah, I can't remember the bass player.
Yeah.
But Eric Singer went on to play with Kiss. But man, Jakey Lee played the Bark at the Moon album, and what was the other album?
Ultimate Sin.
Ultimate Sin with Ozzy. And this was his band that he put together. And man, he did that album.
It was a lot of bluesy rock, but man,
it's forgotten.
jamming.
But man, I listened to like the first, it does High Wire, and then
Dreams in the Dark.
Dreams in the Dark, and then it has that little acoustic solo Jade song or something like that. And then it has the Winter's Call.
Yeah.
I just listened to those first 4 songs. I was like,
yeah, that is a great. That is one we haven't talked about.
Yeah, that's an album that definitely, if you're listening to this and you've never heard, no one that's listening to this has probably heard of this band. Badlands with Jakey Lee. It's on YouTube. Listen to it. Yeah. It's amazing. Just listen to High Wire and you're like, they're right.
You know what? I am pissed off that it's not on Spotify. And every once in a while, I do go back and look for it. But it comes with I think Spotify has their second release, which was, I don't know, maybe thrown together.
Like Voodoo Highway.
Yeah.
I think they had Voodoo. I looked on there today. I think it was either Voodoo Highway or there was one that was after that. But yeah, I didn't.
Yeah. But if that ever gets released on Spotify or Apple Music, man, I'd be very happy, dude, because I'd be cranking those songs too.
Yeah, dude, man. They're great. They're rippers.
One band we didn't talk about, which is one of my favorites too, is LA Guns. Their first release album that was ripping. There's so many good songs. Tracy Guns, Kelly Nichols, just Steve Riley's on drums. Great band, and they came out with some killer stuff. LA Guns, No Mercy, Sex Action, One More Reason, which is great. Electric Gypsy, Bitch is Back, Cry No More, One Way Ticket, Hollywood Tease, Shoot for Thrills, and Down in the City. So 1988's LA Guns debut album was the start of that kind of stuff. And man, I don't think I saw them on that album, but when they released the second album is when I saw them. And man, it was just bitching.
Yeah, I didn't really get into them. I think it was Cocked and Loaded.
Yeah,
was the album that I got into them in.
Good
that
stuff,
first album was
man.
good. Just quick, I got one more I just want to talk about quick, and then I'm just gonna brush over. Well, then I look at my list and I'm like, I don't want to go on too long. We've already been doing
I know
20-something minutes on this. Damn Yankees. I think
okay.
people always talk about High Enough, and once again, you listen to the album, you're like, wow, that's not the best song on here. And it's great when you find out the singles aren't the best song because you find those hidden gems.
Right.
Great album. It had, you're going to tell me, Tommy Shaw from Styx.
Yeah. Ted Nugent from
Ted Nugent.
Ted Nugent from
Ted Nugent Band or whatever, Ted Nugent. And Blades, Jack Blades? Is that his name? From Night Ranger. And then their drummer, whoever that was, and man, that band ripped.
I think he was a session artist.
He may have
but
been.
But
I'm just saying,
dude.
and everybody associates that album with High Enough, but then you listen to that album, you're like,
yeah, there's
it's rocking, dude. It rocks.
I skip that song High Enough now, and I go for the
that song.
all that other stuff, man.
Bad Reputation is, you listen to that I love that song. But see that album, and then and two more I just want to talk about quick. Just want to glaze over. Vixen, their debut album, for selfish reasons, because I was in 8th grade when it came out. I bought the tape. One of the only all-female hair metal bands. It not so much the album itself, but just encapsulates and reminds me of a moment in time. And so whenever I hear songs by them, I think about, who my friends were, riding around in his mom's station wagon, doing our 8th grade thing. It reminds me of that. And then another one I want to talk about is one of this band. Actually, I think for me and Gregg holds a special place in our heart because it was the first the first concert that we ever went to together was Tesla.
Oh, that's on my
Mechanical
list.
Resonance
Yes.
was their debut
Tesla,
album.
dude.
So me and Gregg, first concert we ever went to together. It was a date. Your wife brought us together on a date.
She set us up.
It was Scorpions was headlining and Tesla was opening.
Yeah.
It was the first time I saw either of those bands. And man, I was a big fan of Tesla at the time, but that first album is amazing.
So good.
I just wanted to, throw
Tesla
those out there because those are some that we forgot to talk about. At least I forgot to talk about.
A few bands I'll bring up. One was 1984's Wasp, their original debut album. Killer. The good stuff. I Want to Be Somebody, Love Machine, School Days, Hellion, Sleep Into the Fire, No Mercy, that kind of stuff. Good stuff from LA. First thing, Wasp, they set on fire, man. These guys were great songwriters, great killer hard rock. Another band which I'll bring up right now is Great White's first album. And I got to tell you, as a kid, I loved this album. And this was another one of those that, yes, I had it on cassette, and yes, I had it on CD, but I don't have it digital. And I was always pissed off that it never came out on digital. Till recently, I think it finally came out, and loved it. I could tell you a lot of good, fun stuff from younger years from 1984's Great White. Out of the Night, which is one of those killer songs. Stick It, which is one of those anthems. You just want to, stick it. On Your Knees. No Better Than Hell, Hold On, Dead End. 1984 is Great White. Two other bands I'm going to bring up really fast. They're probably not as known. Actually, three. Tough was another band from Southern California. Loved their album when they came out. Another band called Wildside, Under the Influence. And my favorite, which was an EP at the time, and I got it on cassette, and this is the early part of the 80s, is Odin. No. Don't take no for an answer. Now, there was never a major release from Odin. They never got signed to a big label, but they got signed to a little label, and they released the record, they released the cassette, and you better believe I got the cassette and wore that sucker out.
I bet you did. Odin. Dude, I'm fast forwarding right now to our cheesy movie episodes.
Yes.
And if you guys have not seen Decline of Western Civilization Part 2,
2.
Odin is in there. And man, it's so okay. So Decline of Western Civilization Part 1 was all about punk rock music scene. Penelope Spheres was the person who did these movies. She also directed, I think the two movies she's really known for the most are Clueless and Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I believe, are the two that she's known for.
What was the one? Amy,
no, Penelope Spheres.
She did Fast Times?
Yeah, didn't she do Fast Times? Let me Google it.
Yes. I thought it was something else. I thought it was Wayne's World she was known for.
But anyways, talk about what we were talking about.
We were talking about Decline of Western Civilization. So it was a documentary set, and they talked about some major artists such as Ozzy Osbourne, Guns N' Roses, Megadeth. Then they talked to unknown artists which are struggling to make it, and they talked about Odin was one of those bands, another band called Seduce, London, Nikki Sixx's first band or first real rock band he was into. They go on there, start talking to these guys, and they talk to regular people who are like, I don't want to say groupies, but kind of club kids. Then these people are glammed out and talk about, oh, I'm gonna make it. Oh, I'm a star. Oh, I'm gonna do this. What are you gonna do if you fall back? If you don't make it as a rock star? Oh no, I'm gonna make it. And
you know what? I gotta interrupt you. Yeah, I was wrong. It was Amy Heckerling did those other ones. It was Penelope Spheres. Sorry. She did do the Decline of Western Civilization. It was Amy Heckerling did that.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I was right?
You were. She did, but she did do Wayne's World. So I was wrong, and you know what? I'll admit it. You got me once.
But yeah, 16 podcast,
dude. The episode 16.
Greg was right.
30 minutes, and Greg has finally said something correct and pointed out my flaw.
Yeah,
Decline 2 is It's all about hair metal, L.A., Sunset Strip. It has some big names in there. It's got some guys from Poison being interviewed.
That's right, Poison.
I
Gene
think it's also
Simmons,
got
Paul Stanley were in there.
It does also have some guys from. Maybe I'm thinking about. I know that Motley Crue did that uncensored home video. Remember the one? I don't know. Are they in decline too?
No.
Did they interview? Okay, it's got Paul Stanley. Oh no, I'm thinking about the Motley Crue.
Yeah, it was Gene Simmons.
Simmons.
He was staying on.
Poison was in there a little bit.
Poison
and
was
then
in there.
Some Seduce.
Correct.
Odin.
Odin.
Gazzari, the guy that owned Gazzari.
Bill Gazzari, that old
perverted
fuddy-duddy fucking guy, dude. Yeah.
It's funny.
It is.
It's funny until you get to the part where
yeah,
the guy
from Wasp, Chris Holmes,
the guitar player from Wasp.
Man, he's just drinking vodka like nobody's business in front of his mom and talking about how fucked up he is and his whole life.
I think he actually says he's gonna kill himself or something, and it's just it's crazy. And then he just chugs down a bottle of vodka right there, on his little floating magic. And it's kind of funny because you're watching it, and it went from cheesy, funny, to all of a sudden this moment where you're like, oh shit, this isn't funny right now. And it doesn't ruin the movie, it doesn't ruin the documentary, but it shows just another side of it of how things can go from fun and party to dead serious. And life
definitely,
and death. And I always wonder what's going through his mom's head at that time.
Right.
It's crazy, but that movie is. I think we definitely could have brought up on our list of cheesy movies, and just that fits right into our cut. Cheesy. It's about the music we love, artists we love,
right?
But man, you always bring up your goddamn Odin.
I love those guys,
talk
man.
about.
I told you I met them, right?
And more than once.
Yeah, no. Me and my wife were at Bob's Big Boy in Burbank, and we're having some dinner, and we look over to the side, and I tell her, "Hey, honey, is that the guys from Odin?" And she looks over and she goes, "No," and she goes, "Oh, maybe it is. Oh, I think it is." And so after we paid and we're walking out, I walk by them and I go, "Odin kicks ass," and they kind of laughed and, "Yeah, dude, rock on."
Wait, you didn't have your speech ready for them?
No, because we were walking out, man. It just
okay. A question: were they eating?
Yes.
Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Did you wait outside? Ambush them outside?
No, but I met them in individual anyways. This wasn't the first time I've seen those guys before, but all four of them together. I guess they were rehearsing here in North Hollywood for a show that they were doing. But I met them individually from other stuff that I've seen them throughout L.A. Randy O, the singer, he was at a benefit I was at, and I took my shot, dude. I went up to him and I said, "Randy, Odin and another band he did called Lost Boys." So I loved it, and then he was actually in front of his kid too, and he was cracking up, and he was very gracious, and he was like, "Thanks, dude. I appreciate this and for what you said." And I was like, I had to come say hi and thank you because your music from Odin, from Lost Boys, really meant something to me. He's on, "Thanks, dude."
You got to think that if you're in a band that struggled as much as hundreds, maybe thousands of bands did during that time, just here in LA, trying to make it, and you have someone that comes up to you decades later and tells you, "Dude, I love this band you were in, this other band you were in. It meant a lot to me, this and that." I don't care how old or how unsuccessful you were, and I'm sure I guarantee you he remembers that day. Because how many people really come up to him now, this day and age, and say that to him? Probably not very many.
No.
I guarantee you he remembers you.
No.
He might not remember if you walk by him, but he remembers, "Oh, this guy, that's pretty cool, dude."
Well, I guess,
Probably made his day.
Hopefully I did, man. Hopefully I did.
His kid probably, how old was his kid?
Early teens.
So he already knew he was probably in a band. Because a little kid be like, "Daddy, you're in a band?"
Yeah, no. They were early teens. I would have said 12, 13, 14 type thing. So all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm one of those people that if I get a shot, I like to say thank you. Because to me, that's what the most thing is. I spend my money on your records and tapes and I go your merch when I go to the tour. But if I can say thank you, hey, I take a shot. So anybody ever listens and comes up to me and says, "Thanks, Greg, I've had a good time listening to your podcast," I'd be very happy to.
I would too. I would love it if someone came up to me and said, "I love your podcast. It's amazing."
Let me take a picture for my Instagram.
Yeah. Make sure hashtag Big Talk CG and tag us as well.
Yeah, definitely, man.
I mean, come on. So, kind of touched on some of the albums we missed. I know we did. I think it was 4 or 3. Let me go through here and count. We did Tag Team was episode 2, wrestling.
Yeah.
We did the wrestling factions, wrestling managers and valets. We also kind of touched on the wrestling rock fashion thing. With those 3, like the first one was a tag team one, and we kind of just threw that episode together on the run that day.
Yeah, of course.
Was there anything you missed out on? Anything you want to talk about more on that one? Do you think we kind of hit it all on that one?
Probably missed a few things. I haven't really thought everything. Wait a minute. Are we talking about the tag teams or just
the
about
tag teams?
anything
Because I remember we were talking about tag team wrestlings. Were there any tag teams that you wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about that day?
I'm gonna say no. I don't think I missed a few.
I remember one of the points that we made during that episode about tag teams is we talked about New Day and the Freebirds and how they were a 3-person thing.
Correct.
But I think we really did an injustice by just kind of glazing over the fact that they feuded with the Freebirds with the Von Erichs, because those guys,
yeah,
to the tragedy it was, but they had some great wrestlers there, and they were always 3-man tagging.
The Von Erich family, those guys, they had
especially there was a time where Kerry and Kevin were tag teaming all the time. I think if we didn't just go back and kind of touch on that and how much, that feud with the Freebirds really drove that WCCW territory there in Texas, and it was that was fire.
Yeah, definitely
white hot.
Yeah,
white hot.
Yeah, definitely good fun stuff.
Was there any other?
Nothing I can't think of on that kind of stuff on just the tag teams. But tag team wrestling is good, has gotten better. There's good things, bad things about it. I think we didn't touch about the women's tag teams, but women's wrestling is a little different. And,
did we talk about the Hollywood Blondes with Brian Pillman and Steve Austin? I remember watching that. They were great.
I think we touched up on it.
May have touched on it, man. They were, I know we talked about the Dangerous Alliance, which had Steve Austin in it back in his early career, but the Hollywood Blondes was Steve Austin, who was Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Brian Pillman, who was later in the Hart Foundation, and he was flying Brian Pillman, singles wrestler. When they put them together, that was one of those situations where, if you listen to the interviews like Stone Cold documentaries and stuff like that, when he was in WCW, they really just said, "Okay, you guys are going to be a tag team. Here you go." And Steve Austin was like, "I don't want to be a tag team. I want to be a singles wrestler." But they were like, "Okay, to make the best, dude." And they were at that time, wrestling was almost kind of like you had the high of the 80s, and it was almost kind of starting this little decline before later in the 90s it started coming back. But they were definitely a highlight of that time, the Hollywood Blondes. They were great. Steve Austin still had hair. They'd come out doing like they were shooting the movie with their hand and stuff like that. Man, it was great. I thought the Hollywood Blondes were great. I mean, I got to bring them up because, man, we forgot about them.
Yeah, that was good stuff, man.
And we talked about the Russians. Anybody else you want to talk about? I know we talked about pretty much everybody. I think we needed to.
Yeah, I think so.
On that episode.
Wait a minute. Did we talk about the Rock and Roll Express, Midnight Express?
We talked a lot. Yeah, I think we did. We did. We talked about the Night of the Skywalkers.
Oh.
Talked about all that. The TLC matches. We talked about all the good stuff. All the good stuff.
Yeah.
Then we went on to our mega.
Yeah.
Mega.
That's good.
3-part series of movie soundtracks.
Oh man, we can go longer.
We could go longer,
but we're not.
We're not. One thing I wanted to kind of touch on, and I think we may have even talked about this before we started that episode, is that one thing we didn't talk about at all were musical scores. But I think that there were some movies that I think definitely that don't have like music like pop songs or rock songs. It's all symphonic. And probably one of the ones that I think has some of the most recognizable songs is Star Wars.
Yes.
I think we should definitely talk about that for a second. Star Wars was great. a lot of the characters have their own song. If you go grab the album, which I have, it has like Darth Vader's march and Princess Leia's song, and the Rebels had their own. Everybody kind of had their own little soundtrack within the movie. So you knew, dun 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 dun. Okay, Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Like what's going on, and then the lighter music for Princess Leia, and then the Rebel Alliance. It all had its own. John Williams is amazing as he is. John Williams, for my money, the greatest. Doing soundtrack scores, you'll probably say Danny Elfman or something, which he was great as well.
Right?
He's great as well.
Yes.
I just think that we would be disappointing the Big Talk Nation if we didn't just bring up Star Wars and bring up scores. Is a big part of music in movies. A lot of times bigger than just songs.
Right. A lot of those were really good. I mean, the scores they really help and boosted.
Well, didn't Chariots of Fire? Chariots of Fire.
Man.
Didn't that song go to number 1? And win like an Academy
that was just
Award
an instrumental
yeah.
on that one. Yeah,
Dun,
that was.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
Dun,
it made,
dun, dun, dun.
made you want to go out and run.
On
Let's
the
go
beach.
run.
Were they running on the beach?
Yeah, running on the beach.
With Apollo, Creed, and Rocky. They're all running together. They're all with the hot bodies running on the beach, dude. It was Chariots of Fire running with Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed, and a bunch of girls in their bikinis and some without. Right?
Are you sure they weren't running through the Top Gun, where the Goose and
you see them run through the beach
Maverick
volleyball court that they're playing on through the base or what, dude? Dude,
that's a movie.
That's Mr. Loggins playing music to
Oh,
that. Mr. Loggins, the king of 80s soundtracks right there. You can't get enough of the Loggins, man. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Can't get enough.
One movie we didn't bring up in our soundtrack, which I do loved, was That Thing That You Do. Tom Hanks.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Even though they had one song and it was about a struggling band in the 40s, 50s.
I think it was
I'll say 50s.
I may have been actually the 60s.
Yeah. But it was still fun, and they always all they did was they played that one song, and they got one hit record, The Wonders, and they were like, hey, when they came to Hollywood, and like, hey, when do we record another time? And it was kind of like, laughing at that. Like nowadays, the artists already would have dubbed it in their car, in their back of the car, or done something. Oh, we got another one. We got another record or another single releasing it now. That kind of stuff. But that was a good movie.
That was in the 60s.
Yeah. Another movie I liked and we didn't really talk about was Rock and Roll High School with the Ramones. Good soundtrack.
I think the first time I saw that was on regular TV.
Yeah, same thing. Not a lot of play, but still fun soundtrack for that kind of stuff. Let's see. Ooh, one song which I don't think I talked about was Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You may
Rob
have.
Halford's Light Comes Out of Black.
I don't think you talked about it, but we talked about the movie, I think, at some point.
Yeah, that was a good one. How about Ford Fairlane's Rock and Roll Junkie and
I think
Motley
some
Crue.
of these because I think that we talked about what we were going to talk about, and we, like you said, you were like listing everything you have, so that might be what I'm hearing. But yeah, I don't think you brought up Ford Fairlane.
Yeah, Ford Fairlane was Andrew Dice Clay did a movie. They kind of had him as like a detective, and the soundtrack had some modern rock or rock at the time. Queensryche released a single "Last Time in Paris," which was a great song, and they put it on their soundtrack. The same thing with Motley Crue. They did a "Rock and Roll Junkie," which is one of my favorite songs from Motley Crue. Never got a lot of airplay, but it was still Motley Crue finding their feel in the Primal Scream.
Love that song.
After Dr. Feelgood, so they had a groove on it,
Which we talked about. It's a good place for artists when they have new material. They don't want to wait for the next album cycle. Where's a soundtrack? Who needs a soundtrack? Who needs a song? We have a song, or we'll write a song, or whatever.
Yeah, they'll do that kind of stuff. That's about it, man. There was a lot of good stuff out there, man.
Yeah,
we did. We had a lot of fun in that soundtrack. Movie.
That one, dude. We were really, I don't know what happened on that one, man, but we just kind of hit a stride where we just wanted to keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and talking and
yeah, it came out on us. We were just, I think we found our groove as we were like, it's not new as in We've got a regular
And,
rotation.
that's how we are. We'll sit there for a long time and not say anything, and then all of a sudden we'll sit there and we'll just start talking and blah 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 blah, and then we'll just sit there for like another 20 minutes, like in real life, just sit there and
Blah,
just,
blah, blah.
and say nothing. So we did that. We're just kind of going through and recapping episodes and adding anything that we may have forgotten to talk about. I think that the rock and roll or the rock and wrestling fashion episode, I think we pretty much covered everything in that one. That episode, we kind of talked about what we like, what we don't like, what we think about it, and, some directions that people have taken it in.
That to me was a personal episode because I had a stand. So if I had a soapbox that I had to stand on, that would be one of them. And
Big Talk Soapbox.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those. I wanted to say something. So when me and Chris came up with that topic, and he was cool with me talking about it, and like the same thing, I talk about it from a rocker point of view, from the rock music that I love, and I like to promote bands, or the wrestler that I love wrestling, and I'll do that. So I did that. That's funny because I went to SmackDown a few weeks ago here in Los Angeles, and I wore my Rey Mysterio shirt, and it was fun. It was just fun to see people, kids, families wearing wrestling shirts from either past, present, or future wrestlers, just kind of do stuff. I even met some kids who were dressed up like Jeff Hardy. So Jeff Hardy that week happened to get released from WWE.
Was that the show that he didn't? Well, he got released before that show.
He got released before that show. But two kids, a couple, teenagers, maybe 20s, were dressed like Jeff Hardy, and I had to stop them and tell them that, thank you for dressing up. I go, you know what, dude, I really appreciate you dress up like Jeff Hardy because I missed him and I wanted him to be here tonight. And, they let him go on Wednesday and the show was on Friday. And I go, I was totally bummed, but I'm glad to see. And, they looked at me like, hey, thank you for recognizing that. And my daughter and her boyfriend that I took too, they were cracking up at me, and they're like, I can't believe you said something. And I go, I had to.
That's what a dad does. He embarrasses.
I had to take a shot
daughter.
and tell the kids, you tell somebody else, hey, you know what? Don't feel, you're dressed like something else or you like something. I go, I'm glad you're promoting it. I'm glad you love it because, if he would have been here, I would have been the loudest guy up in the stands screaming my head off, that he's here and stuff.
Well, you did your job. You let him know how important he was.
Yeah.
You embarrassed your daughter. And her
I don't know. I don't know if I embarrassed her, but she was
you
cool.
did. You did, because that's what my story says. Yeah. You embarrassed them, and
so that soapbox.
Did they put on like an impromptu match for you or anything, like in the concession stand, old school, like Monday Night Raw style? Or grab a soda, throw it off the head like it's gonna hurt or something?
I would have loved that, man. That would have been totally funny on that, man. No, nothing
that would have
like
not
that.
been embarrassing.
No, that would have
been amazing.
That would have been funny. That'd have been funny. No. So, anyways, yes. Wear your shirt loud and proud. If you wear wrestler, if you wear rock band, make sure you know who they are because we will test you on the 3-song tier. So don't
always.
We'll chase you down.
There's probably an age limit on that. Like you got to be at least as old as my oldest.
No bullshit. We got to chase it.
Sometimes the parents say, "Here, I bought this for you. Put it on." It's the parents' fault.
We'll ask the parent. What's your favorite song?
Then you have to ask the parent. Oh, I see your baby's wearing a Metallica onesie. What are your 3 favorite songs, Mom and Dad?
I like that Inner Sandman song.
The Sandman one. The one about the beach. The guy in the sand. Idiot.
The one with the puppets.
Yeah. I'm a puppeteer.
I'm a puppeteer.
Of course you are. We went on from there. Halloween episode. But I didn't even ask. How was your Halloween? Do we even talk about how our Halloweens were? How was yours? I know it was a couple months ago.
You know what? We had 2 trick-or-treaters come to the house and give candy out because I threw the light on.
No toothbrushes or wait, what did your mom want to give out that one year where you had to stop her pennies or something?
No,
what did she want to give out? You told the story.
She wanted to give like raisins or something.
Yeah, did she give out raisins?
No, I didn't let her give raisins out. No, I bought a bag of candy. Good candy too.
Candy you like, obviously. You're the candy buyer, right?
Yeah, yes.
What'd you buy? Like Funhouse bag?
Yes, definitely Funhouse bag. Some Almond Joys.
It's kind of fun.
Pieces.
I saw on Reddit, people are buying those big Funhouse chocolate bags from Costco, and they're opening them up. Well, they do this before Halloween, and then they line up the different candies to see how many they're getting of each one.
Correct.
And they'd get, some of them were getting like 2 like peanut butter cups, and they were all upset. You know, some of them got 1, or I got 10. You know, so there's something.
I did see that
seen
too.
that?
Yeah, damn people, damn Costco.
It's a great place to shop.
It's
So Halloween, I don't even remember my Halloween.
yeah. Did you work?
I probably did. I don't.
I know you didn't dress up.
I didn't dress up.
Next year we're the midnight. We're the rockers.
Next
Rock and Roll Express.
next year we're gonna dress up as freaking Edge and Christian and go find those 2 guys who are dressed up like the Hardy Boys and take them on in the freaking
Nice.
Arrowhead or Coliseum or Staples Center or wherever you saw. We're gonna go find those kids. If you guys are listening.
Can we be the
We
Dudleys and we'll have
challenge you
glasses?
next Halloween. We're gonna be Edge and Christian, not with the Brood. We're gonna be Edge and Christian with the big foam cowboy hat and the big glasses.
Yeah,
And
the 3-second pose.
Yes,
Love
gonna
it.
be
I
us.
love it.
We'll take them on. I don't remember my Halloween. I probably should. There's probably something I'm forgetting about it. Oh, now I remember. Yeah, we went out to Santa Monica.
Okay.
We did trick or treating. My wife, the girls, their 2 cousins, and my sister-in-law, Alex, and we went trick or treating through Santa Monica, and it was great.
Cool.
We went to a church that was doing this charity kind of event for the neighborhood, and kids got to play some games, and they had cookies in there and treats, and the girls won some stuff, and me and my wife got our picture taken a couple times with the paparazzi. No, I'm just kidding. But it was paparazzi was there taking pictures of us. And
Oh my God, it's Chris from Big Talk with Chris and Gregg.
Yep, that's exactly what they said. Where's Gregg? I got no fucking clue, dude.
He's back there parking the car.
He's not in the front, he's in the back.
That's a good one.
And I remember now, we had a good, I was like, man, I should remember what happened on Halloween. What happened now? Yeah, so we went trick-or-treating, and, kids were excited. They got some full-size candy bars and, some king-size, Reese's peanut butter cups. And
Yeah.
so they made out pretty good. I think they still have leftovers, but we keep the bags up where, above the, the cabinet. The cabinet that's like above the fridge that everybody has in their house. They're like up in there. So I pick through it. To grab.
Where's all the candy going?
And every time, it's all gone. Every time I go through it, it seems a little bit less, So I don't think it's me going through it or the kids. So there's only one other person in the house.
Rambo.
It's not the dog, dude. It's not the dog. It's my wife. She's rummaging through that thing. She's taking all the good ones.
Good.
She's taking all the good ones.
Good. All the coconut ones?
Coconut. Anything she wants. Anything she wants, she just takes it. She wants the almond joys and the high end chocolate, the Dove.
Oh,
Stuff like
nice.
that. So yeah, Halloween was good. It was good.
Yeah, that was
now
definitely
that
fun.
I remember, I can't remember. I get old, dude. I can't remember 2 months ago.
Terrible.
We let's see. Looking just kind of ahead at some of the next episode we have, there was a couple of wrestling ones in there, but the next one we did was the album covers where we went through a stack of albums.
Yeah, that was fun, man.
That was a fun one. And discovered stuff that I didn't even know what was in there, because I was just buying albums and I was like, oh, I got this album, you'd pull it out and listen to it, but you didn't pull all the stuff out of the sleeve. But that was kind of fun to do, and we got to post pictures of them up and stuff like that. We didn't really go into talking about like some of our favorite album covers, and I know that eventually we will probably do an episode about that. But is there anything you wanted to throw out about that episode that
On the one that we were looking for? On the one that we did, that we pulled out?
The one that we did.
No, there was I really enjoyed that episode because we got to physically see it and describe it right in front of us. And that's what I kind of, not from our memory of album covers, it was just physically what we had in front of us and described it. We talked about either the band, either the record, we were and I loved it too. We were going through some of the sleeves, and there was lyrics, or there was pictures, or I think the Iron Maiden one, we had a flyer and
to order stuff,
a sticker and some bubble gum or something.
a leather tie. Who has a leather tie?
Right? So that was a fun one. I totally love that, man. And so we could do another stack of something else. That would be great.
Like I think I mentioned this to you before, but when I cleaned out my storage, I got 2 like those big Rubbermaid storage containers. One is full of VHS tapes. One is full of CDs and tapes, cassettes that I have not opened. And they've been in storage for years, and I've not looked at them.
Get out of town. So you haven't opened them?
I haven't opened them. So that's something that we need to maybe do a live.
Go into a vault?
Maybe. Maybe that could be like the one, because I know we've talked about in the new year, 2022, doing video.
Oh, yes.
Wanting to post. Maybe that's one we could do like at the beginning or one of the ones we could do because that's definitely you want to see what's going on in here.
Sure, that's a good one.
I know I'm going to have some embarrassing stuff in there where it's going to be like, I can't believe you have this in here.
Some Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees.
Maybe. No, I don't think I have any of that, but I could. It's possible. It's totally possible. Yeah, that episode was fun, discovering some stuff that you didn't even know you had, just by rummaging through.
Yeah, that's cool.
Kind of went through the wrestling ones we talked about earlier, and then we went to music censorship. Yeah, we did a 2-part episode on music censorship.
Before we go back to the wrestling, before you end that, one faction which I liked, and they should have done more with them, was the Kurt Angle faction. When Charlie Haas. And I forgot what the other guy's name was. Sheldon Benjamin. Those 3 guys were a killer faction. Just real quick, because they were, came from amateur wrestling, so they weren't into the sports entertainment, but the background, but they at least had real wrestling background. So they didn't do a lot with them. I think they lasted a month, 2. We'll say 2 for the hell of it.
Were they World's Greatest Tag Team before that or after? Or
I want to say after that.
Like during and then after.
Yeah.
Kind of thing?
Yeah. The World's Greatest Tag
Team.
They were good. That was fun.
Those were kind of like guys that like, I mean, everybody that wrestles pretty much, they're all athletes. They're all athletes. But then there's some of those people that are just a head and shoulders above. And that, especially Kurt Angle, was head and shoulders above, athletically above a lot of the people that were wrestling at the same time. But Haas and Benjamin, they were on not quite that level of Kurt Angle, but they were above the majority athletically of the roster. They just, didn't get, didn't have the mic skills like they should have, or didn't, for whatever reason, didn't get the push they should have. But man, they were didn't they win the titles? Were they titled? I don't remember.
I don't remember. I don't think they did, because it was. They said when I was looking up something recently, it just said they had a quick faction and they should have been there longer. So I don't think they were a tag team. Maybe they took a shot, but they didn't win it. Probably lost to Rock and Sock Connection or something.
Jesus, Rock and Sock. You already know how I feel about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so then, yes, now we can talk about the music censorship. I don't have anything to add to that one. I think we covered it.
Oh man, that was a great one, man.
That was
another one of those ones that we had another soapbox. We got to say and talk about things on it, because the sticker, they still have the stickers today. Mm-hmm. But like you said, artists. And some of them are really smart, and a lot of them are, and they talk about something and it makes you think one thing, but it's actually not about this. It's about this. For instance, Guns N' Roses, I Used to Love Her, right? You're thinking, oh man, I used to love her, shot her, and then Axl says, oh, it's about my dog. And you're like, oh, I can see that. Damn it.
Is it really? Do you think it really is? It could be. I don't know.
It could be. I don't know. But I mean, if some mom or some dad or somebody that didn't want to, I used to love her, but then I had to kill her. What is this guy talking about?
Now she's buried in my backyard.
Yeah, now she's buried in my backyard. That's one of those things of like, people taking content out of, saying something. So great.
The only sadomasochism in that song was in the Mind of Tipper Gore, quote.
Correct.
D. Snyder.
And that was, like I said, that was another one of those episodes I was totally proud of, totally happy. I think we said everything on it. So, make your own judgment call, folks. And, if you want to hear something, great. If you don't, turn it off, change the channel, do something else. Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
I think you pretty much summed it all up.
Well. Really good. Really good.
Okay. Cheesy movies. So episode 13 was a fun episode for us. We got to talk about some cheesy movies, make fools of ourselves a little bit. one we talked about a lot. We talked about, who we did not bring up that has done a lot of cheesy movies? Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris.
Okay.
Because all of his movies are those action, saving. He did a lot of those missing in action. It's like second-rate Rambo movies. And once you got, past First Blood, Rambo 2 was okay. And then it was kind of like, oh my gosh. But the Chuck Norris missing in action were cheesy. He did that Invasion USA, which was cheesy. He did the Delta Force. He did, what was that one? Pentagon or something like that he did, dude. Anything that, action, martial arts. His stash was the star of the show. It was great, dude. And so cheesy. And, his probably the best role he played was when he was in, I forget exactly which one it was. That movie with Bruce Lee where they fight in Italy.
Was it Enter the Dragon?
No, Enter the Dragon was the one on the island that was done by Warner Brothers. I can't remember which one it was, and I'm sure that one of our fans will probably tell us which one it is. I just can't remember.
Yeah, I forgot what it was.
I would have to go look it up.
Yeah,
I could Google it right now.
Yeah, you're right. But that was another good. That was one of those like today of two characters seeing each other and like, mega fights or a fight a fantasy fight that you were doing, like that kind of stuff.
And it was because Chuck Norris is bona fide like world karate champion. Like he was a world champ. So that was like a dream match kind of scene in that movie. Right. Chinese Connection, I think it might have. Was it Chinese Connection? I can't remember.
That sounds like it. That could have done that one, dude.
I think it was that one. Any other kind of cheesy movie kind of situations? We talked about Decline 2. We talked, I just want to bring up Chuck Norris quick because I thought that, we would be doing ourselves and our nation a disservice if we didn't bring him up. You got some comedies, but they don't necessarily strike me as cheesy. I don't want to step on any toes because I might say something you were going to say.
Oh, one movie which we didn't in our cheesy. I'm glad I just thought of it right now. Zapped. Scott Baio.
Scott Baio, dude.
Right?
Yes.
One of my buddies from work brought that up to me. He goes, "Hey, you guys did really good." He says, "But you forgot one of the greatest cheesy movies out there." And I'm like, "What is it?" And he goes, "Scott Baio Zapped with Heather Locklear." Heather Thomas.
I think it was that. And does that also have Buddy from Charles in Charge?
Yeah.
Is he also co-star in that?
Zapped, if you haven't seen that one. Fun.
Give the synopsis of the movie.
Kid scientist, and then they kind of mix two things together, and he has telekinesis, or he
flipping skirts.
He can move objects, or do open things, close things, or open some skirts, move some skirts. Fun stuff like that, dude. That was Zapped.
Yeah,
is the one, dude.
That one was good.
If you don't look at that one. Look that up, dude. That's a good, fun one, man. So, yeah, on the cheesy, that was it. Zapped was the one I was thinking about.
Love it.
Yeah.
And Christmas. We just finished up a couple episodes on Christmas. And how was your Christmas?
Christmas was good, man. I had a really good Christmas this year. I wasn't so humbug. I usually that way because, like I told you, my job kind of drags me through the mud and then, gives me a little light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm happy I get the light. But this year was definitely not like that.
Question.
Yeah.
Did you watch It's a Wonderful Life?
No.
Did you watch Christmas Carol?
No.
Did you watch White Christmas?
No.
Did you watch Miracle on 34th Street?
No. Did you watch any of those?
Yeah. Hello.
Making sure. Oh no. Recently. Did you watch any of those recently?
I don't want to lie.
Yeah,
I watched them all.
I saw Christmas Story.
I didn't watch any. Yeah, I watched Christmas
Story.
Elf. I think I watched Christmas Story after Christmas. So I didn't watch it.
We recently saw the Santa Claus with what's his face?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen.
Santa Claus. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Christmas. How about you, man? Christmas was good.
Christmas was good. Christmas was good. It was great. Got to spend it with the family. Loved it. It was great. It was great. Great holiday season. Looking forward to New Year's. Looking forward to partying like it's 2021's coming to an end. 2022 is going to be a great year. I only see great things ahead.
Good.
For you and for me and for our families.
For
and
Big Talk Nation.
Big Talk Nation. It's going to be great. 2022. Hopefully, we're keep growing this thing. We get, larger following and more listeners, and we got some things we got coming, on the horizon that, we'll bring to light later. But we got, one thing we do want to do is start posting our podcasts on YouTube with video.
Yes,
video
definitely
podcasts.
do that, man.
So that's one thing we're definitely heading towards doing that. So hopefully in the next year.
Yeah, we want to get some merch out too, some stickers and T-shirts, maybe some patches as we're looking at that too. Just fun stuff. And if anybody out there, just our nation or listeners or that, want to represent, please. Me and Chris and I are really, really excited about that because the more word we get out there, more episodes, people are really digging us and, listen to more. And like I said, but if, you come up with a topic or come up with something we're not saying, let us know because we're definitely open to that because we're just not rock and wrestling, which is most of our bread and butter. But hey, we'll talk about different stuff. We'll get, votes and rock the vote. And
we can act like we know what we're talking about.
Exactly. We can.
I can do my 15 minutes of research on anything.
Yeah.
Jet propulsion, I'm ready to go.
Oh,
give me 15 minutes.
I also think we're going to bring up too. So anytime we go out to a live event, which is live wrestling, which is independent, or WWE, AEW wrestling, if we go to a show from a club to an arena, we will also be letting you guys know. So we're out there because by that time we'll have shirts, and you can, if you recognize us, please stop by, say hi, take a picture. We're happy to take a picture and post it ourselves, or put it on Instagram, which is Big Talk Instagram podcast at IG.
Wait, what'd you just
See, that's why I don't say it.
You just like are throwing out words.
Yeah. Zibbity zabbity.
Zibbity sibbity on the bibbity.
Give it a day.
I will tell you where you can find us. BigTalkCG.podcast is Instagram.
Okay, so I didn't put the dot.
You didn't even say podcast.
I did say
BigTalkCG.podcast on Instagram. BigTalkCG at Gmail. BigTalkCG for Twitter, the Twitter machine.
Yes.
You can listen to us everywhere. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to us on Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Listen Notes, Amazon Music, Player FM, TuneIn Radio, YouTube. I don't know if I'm missing anywhere. If you go to our Podbean website, which is bigtalkcg.podbean.com, you can go see us there.
What about Pandora?
Pandora, we're having issues with it. Getting it. I emailed them. Yeah. So I
Do we need to grease the wheels?
We're going to need to grease the wheels.
All right.
Give them a guest shot.
We're working on them. We're working
on Pandora.
Pandora.
We just want to do an episode, talk about, what we've been doing so far these first 15 episodes. This is number 16. Love it.
Love it.
I love what we're going. Let us know what you guys think. And, we can take it in any direction you guys want to take it. But
there you go.
Until next time, this is Chris.
This is Gregg. See ya.